This is some memories that Harlene wrote down. I'm so thankful that she did. Um, she talked about just meeting Mom in the summer of '87, and she felt kind of shy around her, but she realized how wonderfully warm and generous and gracious Mom was, and what a great sense of humor she had. And she wanted to share some special things about Mom. Um, I'm going to kind of skip because some of these things are repeated about Mom's generosity and her gift giving and her card giving and all the things that she just lavished upon us, to some special memories that they shared. Um, so besides those intangibles, they had so many good times together. We went to Ventura one weekend and stayed in a seaside hotel. On that trip, Mom literally saved a little boy from running into the street and getting run over by a car. We went to Pepperdine University to see the flags of the victims of the 9/11 tragedy. We ate at Bubba Gump's on the Santa Monica Pier and also at the one near Disneyland. We drove up to Santa Barbara one day and just window shopped. We walked all over the Hollywood Walk of Fame and saw the Hollywood sign up close. When we ate lunch at the Roosevelt Hotel, Mom remarked that when she stayed there in the 1960s, a man told her that she was pretty enough to be in motion pictures. And she was truly pretty with a lovely form. We had lunch at the pier in Ventura, and Mom was courteous to a rough-looking person from the fringe of society who was fishing from the pier. He tried to get friendly with Mom, but I protected her honor. We went so many places together and had the best of times. Once we made a trip to Las Vegas. We kept calling each other Thelma and Louise. Driving back, we were stuck in traffic that was not moving for at least 15 minutes or longer. So I just drove across the median, pulling a Louie, as Mom called U-turns, and head back the way we had just come. I knew there was a frontage road a few miles back that would take us past the traffic snarl. And Mom said, "Thelma, honey, you just pulled a Brody." We laughed about it for years. Mom had the best sense of humor. There are so many you had to be there moments when we were together, helpless with laughter. We nearly got asked to leave a Rite Aid drugstore. Same thing with a thrift store in Ventura and a souvenir shop in Las Vegas. We were laughing to the point of tears and bending over, holding our sides and begging each other to stop. Don't make me laugh anymore. Just silly things that we laughed over for years. All we would need to say is a word or a phrase, and we would laugh all over again. Mom was polite and gracious. She was unfailingly polite to everyone, food servers, cashiers, people at the post office, everyone really. Mom gently built people up by saying nice things and sympathizing. For example, if there was a long line at the grocery store with a 5-minute wait, she would say something like this to the cashier: "Wow, that's some line of people. You must be exhausted because you're working so hard. I hope you get your break soon." And she would smile. She actually took time to let people know that she cared about them. Mom lived with a whole heart. She loved with her whole heart. It was, if she liked you or loved you, there was ample evidence and never a doubt. She was never two-faced. She was genuine and honest, but politely so. If she didn't like something, she would simply say, "It's all according," meaning to one's own taste, which might not coincide with her own preference. But I didn't hear her make criticisms of other people's choices except to say, "I just don't understand that." Mom was a source of wisdom. I once had an unprecedented, in my life, situation that I simply did not know how to handle. Should I do this? Should I do that? What will happen if? I was truly perplexed and relied on Mom's wisdom. Her advice to me was gentle but firm. Do nothing. And she was so right. Not responding was the best decision. Being my mother-in-love, as she called Mom, meant that our hearts were very close. So often, We would call each other just as the other was about to pick up the phone. 15 years ago, on December 1st, 2005, I had to make an emergency flight to Las Vegas to be at my own mother's side in the hospital in the last hours of her life. Less than 18 hours later, not knowing anything about what had transpired, Mom, Jan, called me on my cell phone. She had had a very bad feeling and was worried about me. She couldn't define it exactly, but she knew that I was hurting. That is how close our hearts were. We had an unbreakable bond. Lastly, there's something you may or may not know about my mother-in-law, Jan. She kept the anniversaries of her loved ones passing from this life. She knew both the birth date and the death date of her father, her brother, and 3 sisters, her husband John, her son Phil, her friend Pat, and other friends, including my own mother, who was also Jan's friend. For Jan, it wasn't a morbid thing to be aware of her loved one's anniversary of passing away, but it was instead a time to reflect on that person and how each person had been important in her life, a celebration of their life. Along with Jan's children by birth, I humbly ask that in the future, you take a moment each December 2nd and reflect on your own relationship with Jan and how much you benefited from her friendship and love. I will cherish the memory of my mother-in-law, Jan Scatterigia, for the rest of my life. May her memory be a blessing for on high.